Hello, everybody. Welcome to Lunchtime Detroit Lions Talk, brought to you by the Belly Up Sports Network. Today, we look at 5 players that can be chosen in the second round by the Detroit Lions. The second round, not the first. We're getting deeper into the draft as the combine comes near. And Antwaan Randle-El will be named the wide receivers coach, ending the speculation that Calvin Johnson might have been the wide receivers coach for the Detroit Lions. So that should happen in a few days. That's speculated, not happened yet as far as we know. So anyway, before we get to all of those things, let's go to my main man, the man of steel himself, Curt Steele.
What up, though? Welcome to the show, people. You know who we are. We are Detroit Lions on the Prowl. Your home for Detroit Lions news and rumors. And as always, join the family, subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the videos, comment on the videos, and you can check us out weekdays, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the premieres of our show. You can chat right there with the staff of the show during the premieres. And if you want to get your comments right up front, you can pay a little bit extra for a super chat. And as always, all of those things I've said will help us get this content to more Lions fans just like yourself. Now let's get this thing started
right now.
Let's go. Welcome back to the show, people. It's time to get into these 5 potential second-round draft picks. Who you got first, Jim?
I got Rashad Weaver. He's an edge rusher out of Pittsburgh. He was a senior this year. He's 23 years old. He's 6'5". Yeah, if he's 5'6", I don't think he's got that role.
No.
6'5", 270 pounds. He totaled 34 tackles, 14 tackles for loss, and 7.5 sacks in 9 games for the Pittsburgh Panthers in 2020. He could replace Aquara if he would leave in free agency, but we also have the other Aquara. I don't think he's leaving in free. Everybody says he's leaving. No, I don't believe that.
I think he wants to stay with his brother.
I do too. And I think that they have an option for him too as well. It's not like he can just test free agents.
Yeah, he's a restricted free agent. He's not a full free agent. So
right. He originally committed to the University of Michigan to play college football, but changed his commitment to the University of Pittsburgh. Boo. After redshirting his first season at Pittsburgh in 2016, Weaver played in 12 games and made 5 starts in 2017. He finished the season with 20 tackles and 3 sacks. That's not bad for limited time. And he started all 14 games in 2018, recorded 47 tackles and team-leading 6.5 sacks. Weaver missed the 2019 season after tearing his ACL. Oh, no, Here we go.
That's not good. But
he returned from the injury for his senior season in 2020 and opted to play, which is good.
Yeah.
Consensus All-American 2020, first time All-ACC in 2020. So maybe that ACL returned to normal in the ACC. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I watched a little bit of like the highlight tape on him. I don't really call that film, but I did watch some highlights. For me, he's got good instincts. He's a little light he's 270 pounds, but he doesn't look filled out. His frame doesn't look filled out to me. But 6'5", 270, pretty good speed. He gets off the edge pretty good. Has some moves. He does, but he'll need a little bit of work. But that would be a pretty good pick for us in the second round. Who you got there? Or what do you think of Rashad Weaver first?
Well, Rashad Weaver, he has some, like you say, he has some good bend. Young kid, I think he still can fill out a little bit more, like you said. But at 270, that's still some good big size.
Yeah,
it's still some good size. And maybe he just is just probably the way he carries himself. He carries his weight well. Had a productive senior season. Consistent All-American, first team ACC. I mean, the guy can play. I mean, we'll see if we do not re-sign Romeo Aquara or extend him. It gives us an option on the defensive line because we know we need another edge rusher to go with Aquara if we kind of play a different technique and move Trey Flowers into that kind of that 3-4 defensive tackle, 3-5 defensive tackle type of or defensive end type of deal. Yeah. He kind of can play Aquara on the outside linebacker or defensive end.
Yeah.
So it gives us some, what do you call that?
Flexibility.
Some depth and some flexibility.
Yeah.
All right.
And I like the depth part of it because, I think we will be switching to a 4-3 at some point.
Yeah, we will.
And I think that maybe it's just this year that we're playing the 3-3-5 just because of the defensive players that we have. And it's a big, huge overhaul. So maybe we won't be doing that. Okay. Yeah. So Tyson, who do you have next, Curt?
I got Tyson Campbell. He is a cornerback junior out of the University of Georgia. Height is 6'2", 185 pounds for the 20-year-old junior as a true freshman in Georgia in 2018. Campbell started 11 out of 14 games. That's pretty good for a true freshman, recording 45 tackles and a fumble recovery for touchdowns. As a sophomore, he started 3 of 9 games, missing 5 due to injury. Finished the year with 15 tackles, 1 sack, and 1 fumble recovery for a touchdown. In 2020, he had 29 total tackles and an interception. Scheme fit. A team that employs press coverage and sprinkles in some zone will be probably make some plays making more plays off in a predominantly zone scheme. So was the highest rated cornerback coming out of high school in 2017 to 2018. So the guy can play. He has some decent coverage skills. I don't want to say he's the best defensive back in the draft, but for a second rounder, he may be pretty good. Maybe he fell in the depth role. He has to fill out some 185 pounds for a 6'2" guy is a little bit light, but we'll see what that is. But coming off an injury, he did play. I'm not sure what the scheme is going to be. Are we going to be playing more cover or zone? Cover man or zone coming out with this new scheme. So I'm not sure. Looking at the New Orleans Saints play a lot of man coverage. So if we continue with that, he might not be a good fit for the Lions.
I don't know if he's a good fit or not. I was underwhelmed with him a little bit, but he's only 20 years old. I want to bring that up because everybody else is like 23. He's only 20 years old. So, I mean, he's got some development. These other guys got 3 years of development on him.
Yeah, he's got some upside to him where he can, you can mold him a little bit more and get him. He must have graduated high school, kind of like that. Another Georgia player we took at the age 20, Matthew Stafford, he was only 20 years old. So he has some room to grow and have some good upside. So we can mold him into something that we want in a defensive back or corner.
I have a Paulson Adebo, and I really liked this kid when I watched him. Wow. He's a cornerback out of Stanford. He's 23 years old. He's 6'1", 190 pounds. He originally committed to the University of Notre Dame to play college football, but changed his mind and went to Stanford. After appearing in his first year at Stanford 2017, Adebo played 13 games with 12 starts. That's pretty good. He finished with 64 tackles and 4 interceptions. The guy can tackle. That's one thing I did watch, and he's in on every play. He's got a lot of length. His arms are long. He has the ability to stay with the receiver and then make a play. He looks back for the ball. He does disrupt passes. I like the kid. I like the kid a lot, actually. During his junior season, Adebo had 33 tackles, 10 pass breakups, 4 interceptions, despite speculation that he would declare for the 2020 draft and being listed as the number 2 draft eligible corner by Mel Kiper. Adebo announced he'd be returning to Stanford for his senior year, but he ended up not playing the 2020 season. So, choices.
And it kind of reminds me of another with his size. Reminds me of another pretty good cornerback that came out of Stanford, Richard Sherman, kind of that same type of build. So,
he's I don't know. I think he's faster, in my opinion.
Of course. I'm not saying that Richard Sherman was slow, but he played with decent game speed when he was in his prime. He's not that fast now, but when Sherman in his earliest career, he played with a lot of game speed. So, Jerry Rice didn't run that fast either.
There's positions that you need to stack players at. This is one of them. In the NFL now, you need as many corners as you can get.
Definitely.
He was a 2-time first team All Pac-12 in 2018 and 2019.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I like him, and I would not be upset at all if they picked him in the second round.
And I would say this about the corners out there in the Pac-12. They have to have some decent corners because that's a wide open passing conference out there in the Pac-12. So they have to have some decent corners out there in the Pac-12 because all they do is throw the ball out there. All right. Next up, we have a little bit of a homie. Okay, Dwayne Eskridge, wide receiver out of Western Michigan University, senior, 5'9", 189, scheme fit, number 3 wide receiver with potential to turn into a consistent number 2 or a slot option. Eskridge can be a day 1 starter as a returner on kickoffs or punts. Now, he's named Mr. Indiana's Mr. Track and Field as a senior. He committed to play football at the Western Michigan over Ball State, which is the only other FBS program to offer him a scholarship. Eskridge saw playing time as a reserve receiver as a freshman. Eskridge became a starter going into his sophomore season, finished the season with 30 receptions for 506 yards and 3 touchdowns. As a senior, he caught 38 passes for 776 yards and 3 touchdowns. Eskridge spent the offseason at cornerback and entered his senior season as a starter on both offense and defense. Wow. Both ways. He old school. He broke his collarbone 4 games into the season and used a medical redshirt. As a redshirt senior, Eskridge returned to playing receiver while also taking on the Broncos' kickoff return duties. At the end of the season, he was named first-team All-MAC as a receiver after leading the conference with 784 yards and 8 touchdowns. The dude could smell the goal line on 34 receptions on the MAC Special Teams Player of the Year, returning 16 kickoffs for 67 yards and a touchdown. He's a prospect that will be on every special teams unit, not only as a returner, but as a hustle man on both kickoff and punt return. He always needs some good gunners out there, a vicious and high effort run blocker. And he has some bone crushing blocks on the perimeter and doesn't take plays off. We do not want a player that takes plays off. Even if the ball's in his hands, he goes out there, he has a high motor. So with Kenny Golladay, Marvin Jones Jr., and Damian Amendola all set to leave the Lions this offseason, Eskridge could emerge on the scene rather quickly as one of the Lions' quarterback needs for Jared Goff to be a go-to target for Mr. Goff. Looking at Mr. Eskridge, he definitely can be a player. Look at the year that Quintez Cephas had, and he's kind of the comparable, but he's faster than Quintez Cephas, and he can provide some speed options down the field for Jared Goff.
Speed, and more speed. He runs a 4.3. If we're not going to get Jamal Agnew back, here's a guy that could replace Jamal Agnew at the kick return spot, punt return spot, gunner. He can play and plays wide receiver fairly well. Only question is the competition basically in the lower leagues, but you can't teach speed. You just can't teach speed.
Teach speed.
I like the kid and would not be upset if we got him in the 3rd round, 2nd round, 3rd round, somewhere in there.
Maybe it depends on like what we get if we trade back. If you can get another second and get him at the end of the 2nd round,
yes,
that would be one of those options right there.
That would be great. I am looking for defense on in our 2nd round pick, but we'll see how it goes. Speaking of defense, love this kid. He's only 22 years old. Levi owns a Eureka, and he is. He's not an edge rusher. He's a defensive lineman. So his scheme fit would be a defensive tackle, like a 3 technique as we switch over to the 4-3, I believe. He's a quick gap shooter who gets penetration and is disruptive in the backfield. He's strong for his size and a tough run defender. He's more of a disruptor than a producer in the pass rush. He's still learning. He totally just 7 sacks over 3 seasons, but he disrupts the plays. He gets in the backfield. He stops the running back in the backfield quite a bit, or allows other people to get in there for the sack as he's disrupting the play. He had 34 tackles in 2018, 45 stops in 2019, but he did sit out the 2020 season. He aligns as an interior defensive line prospect, has excellent overall athleticism, demonstrates good body quickness as a pass rusher, and the way he plays with exceptional leverage helps him to excel as a run defender. We need that. I hate to say that, but our run defense was really bad last year. As a result, he's extremely difficult to single block. He is disciplined with his technique to maintain gap control. He demonstrates the toughness and the emotional endurance to play in the trenches every snap. He only played one day at the national team Senior Bowl practices, but that's all he needed. The Washington defensive lineman showed off his explosiveness and proportional length on Tuesday. He he beat Quinn Minares in one rep, but aside from that, or got beat by him. But aside from that, he was incredibly disruptive and active on the interior. His absence was visibly felt Wednesday, and that counts for something. He didn't have much room to improve his stock as the other draft prospects, but he's comfortably within the day 2 range now. He's 22 years old. He's got a lot to learn. If you want to look him up, I think they're doing a draft, path to the draft with him. A series with him, as in, his journey to the draft. So you'll get to know him pretty good if you look him up on YouTube. So what do you think of this guy?
Yeah, he got big upside, big disruptive, strong guy. I like the way that he plays. He plays with his hair on fire, and he definitely can help us up front. We had with the 2 young guys that we already have with Penasini and Shelton, if one of those guys are actually moved on from, he can be a plug and play guy where he can provide some depth and some good, at least some good disruptive pass rush, like you said, not to look for sacks, but make sure he disrupts the quarterbacks. And we have a lot of good quarterbacks in the NFC North, so we want to disrupt Aaron Rodgers as much as possible, Kirk Cousins as much as possible, and whoever's behind center, be it Carson Wentz or you definitely know that Mitchell Trubisky has problems in the passing game if you disrupt him in his passing lane. So you make sure you get after him and make sure you contain Mitchell Trubisky. And this one is the one guy who can do that in the draft right now.
Yeah, and he sheds blocks pretty well too. He's 6'3", 290, reminds me, not strength-wise, but he kind of reminds me of an Ndamukong Suh type, where he's not the pass rusher Suh was, but he could throw someone out of the way and get to the ball carrier. I've seen him do that several times. So I like him. I do. I like him a lot. Yeah, okay, definitely. And that is it for our five players that we could select in the second round. We're going to keep going with this series, and hopefully you'll like that. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about that. And now we're going to move on to another real big news story. What you got there, Curt?
All right. Detroit Lions are expected to hire Antwaan Randle-El as wide receivers coach. Now, I know we were speculating the other day about maybe being Calvin Johnson, but no. First off his Super Bowl win as a member of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers coaching staff, the former NFL wide receiver Antwaan Randle-El is expected to join the Detroit Lions staff as the next team's wide receivers coach, according to NFL's Network's Tom Pelissero. Randle-El is known for his long playing career, starting as a second-round draft pick out of Indiana, where he played quarterback. Ironically,
yes, he did.
He played for the Steelers in Washington over his 9-year career, including one All-Pro in which he shined as a punt returner. In his retired career, he housed 5 punt returns and 1 kickoff return. He scored 15 times as a receiver and also threw 6 touchdowns as a gadget play quarterback. What else you got on Randle-El?
His NFL coaching career started just in 2019 when the Bucs hired him to be an offensive assistant. He held that position for 2 seasons under the offensive-minded coach Bruce Arians and the up-and-coming offensive coordinator Byron Leftwich. The Lions have already hired an assistant wide receivers coach in Seth Ryan, the son of Rex Ryan. Randle-El becomes the latest player turned coach, and the Lions staff full of them. Head coach Dan Campbell, offensive coordinator Anthony Lynn, defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn, assistant head coach, running back coach Deuce Staley, quarterback coach Mark Brunell, offensive line coach Frank Haley, all had significant playing careers in the NFL. What do you think of this hire, first of all?
I like the hire. I like the experience he brings to the position. Play a lot of slots, so he definitely was a good route runner. And let's just look at the year that the wide receivers had down there in Tampa, down there with Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. So he knows what he's doing. Now, he wasn't the actually wide receivers coach. He was an offensive assistant, but he knows how to coach wide receivers, and that shows by the what the wide receivers down in Tampa did this year. So working on there in that staff, he knows how to put together some good coaching techniques. Just look at the year that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had, just come off the Super Bowl. So I really like the hire. I like the continued use of former players and that have good coaching experience in the league on Dan Campbell's staff.
Yeah, it is. I like the amount of experience that these players have in the NFL too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of experience that we have to draw on from all of these players, the head coach, and then we just have a ton of experience right now. And what were we really upset about at first when we heard of, Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes being kind of the 1-2 punch here was we didn't have, where's the experience? And now there's tons of it.
It's a whole bunch of it. It is a lot of experience going on right now. I do like the hire. There was another speculation of Hines Ward as well. And these guys kind of mirrored each other in Pittsburgh in their careers. Hines Ward was a quarterback at University of Georgia before he became a wide receiver. So you look at those guys, either one of these guys would have been great fits to join Dan Campbell's staff.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to go to the news and rumors today. Detroit Lions news and rumors. Number one, Curt Warner shares his concerns about Jared Goff, or what concerns him about Jared Goff. If the Lions are truly committed to Jared Goff being their starting quarterback, it's time for them to build around him. It's the only way in which Goff is going to be successful during his time in Detroit, according to Pro Football Hall of Famer and NFL Network analyst Curt Warner. He said, if you go back and look at them in LA, when they do what they do in terms of the run the football, the play action, and stay in that wheelhouse, they're able to play games that way. Jared Goff is really, really good. Warner said leading up to the Super Bowl. He said when they're forced to play different ways and they're forced to play more drop back football, Jared Goff isn't as good. Goff enjoyed his highest level of success as an NFL passer when he had a potent running game and complements what he does through the air. Oh, that's interesting, isn't it? Coming to a team that has no running game.
Yeah.
I was crying about that for years with Stafford. So, about time.
Yeah.
For instance, his back-to-back Pro Bowl campaigns were in 2017, 2018, when then the LA Rams running back Todd Gurley averaged 4.8 yards a carry and amassed 2,556 yards and 30 touchdowns on the ground and garnered first-team All-Pro honors each season. Meanwhile, the Lions have only had 4 1,000-yard rushers since the start of the 2000 season, including just one during Matthew Stafford's era of 12 years in Detroit. Reggie Bush, or was it 13? I don't really know. Reggie Bush in 2013 with 1,006 yards, so he barely did it. And that was the only guy through Stafford's entire career. What do you think about that?
Yeah, we know that we've always struggled with the run game. But I do like the fact that you want to build around him. If you look at the success that Jared Goff had out there in LA, he had a potent running game. So, having Todd Gurley and Brown out there was definitely one of the things that helped him succeed because he's good off of play action. He's good off of rollouts, but you have to put those players around him, and we got to build that in Detroit. We have a good start with DeAndre Swift, but we're going to have to make sure we have that offensive line to go with that running game as well.
Absolutely. What you got next, Curt?
All right, I got Jeff Okudah generously donates to child injured in Chiefs Coach Brett Reed's car accident. And that was just a tragic thing. Okay, Okudah pledged $1,000 to the GoFundMe set up to assist Ariel, a 5-year-old who was critically injured in a car crash that involved Kansas City Chiefs linebackers coach Brett Reed, the Lions cornerback listed among the top donors on the site, which is now raised over initial goal of $100,000. The money will go toward the hospital bills and compensation for weeks of missed work for the child's mother per the donation site. Reed drove his truck into the 2 cars that were stopped along the sideway and a freeway entrance ramp near the Chiefs training complex. Reed admitted that he had consumed some alcoholic beverages and was also under the influence of Adderall, which is prescription Adderall, but under Adderall, according to police reports. Big shout out to Jeff Okudah. The young fella is doing some big things. The accident was tragic. We've heard the reports, But him, stepping up and donating that money out of his pocket, so the mom can miss work, and because she's going to be taking care of take care of the child. This is a remarkable thing for that young fella to do.
It is. It is. And another good story coming out of Detroit. And I'll tell you what, our team doesn't do very well usually, and we have a lot of negative on us. But I'll tell you what, the players really step up and try to help people when they need to. And so we've had those stories 2 days in a row now, and I really like those. In 2021, Detroit Lions free agent profiles, was Everson Griffen worth the trade? Was the trade worth it? This is out of Pride of Detroit. My good friend Jeremy Reisman. After 10 years in Minnesota, Griffen hit the free agent market, but didn't find a new team right away. Instead, teams took their time with Griffen, who had seen a clear decline in his game with the Vikings, even though he managed 8 sacks in 2019. By the time the Cowboys had traded him to Detroit, it appeared expectations should be limited. But that didn't stop fans from getting hyped about the trade. At the time, the Lions were 3-3 and in desperate need of a pass rush. Griffen for a day 3 draft pick seemed like a more than reasonable price, as 92% of the fans gave this an A or a B grade. But his actual role in 2020 wasn't terrible. He had 7 games, 13 tackles, 3.5 sacks, 3 passes defended. His PFF grade was 69.5, which is not horrible for what you're getting in that old of a person. At the end of the day, was it worth sending a day 3 pick, hoping that the aging defender would help turn around the season defensively? Probably not. Though through no fault of his own, Griffen alone was never going to prevent that ship from sinking. That's the truth.
Because right before he joined the team, actually get on the field, Trey Flowers got hurt.
Yep.
So it was just like, you had to expand his role, and I don't think he came for an expanded role. I think he came to be a situational pass rusher, which would have fit him more than playing every down like he did for some series.
Now, Luke G., a friend of the show, fellow DSA member, hated this trade from the beginning.
He did.
And I think he was right. I think he was right, because we gave up a 5th or 6th round pick. I don't know how that's all going to work out. We'll find out in the wash, I guess. I think it'd
probably be a 6th rounder.
Is it a 6th rounder?
It will probably end up being a 6th rounder.
Well, it limited us to 5 draft picks right now.
Yeah.
Which hurt us. And you can thank Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia, the double agents.
Quinn and Tricia.
I think Matt Patricia's double agent. Because he goes here to destroy Detroit, make all these trades for New England to help them out, and then leaves Detroit in a mess and goes back to New England.
Goes right back to New England, where he's comfortable.
Conspiracy theories here at Detroit Lions on the Prowl.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Detroit Lions, the painful offseason moves may not be over. This is coming from Sideline Report. He says, so with an eye on the future, will the Lions be willing to re-sign their 2 top free agents, Kenny Golladay and the big fella, Romeo Okwara? Yet, with salary cap expected to drop from last season and no real idea when life will go back to normal, without Golladay and Okudah giving the Lions a major hometown discount, it seems extremely unlikely that either one will be in Honolulu blue and silver next season.
I just disagree with this.
Yeah, I disagree with that.
I don't know why everybody thinks Okwara is an unrestricted free agent. I think that's the thought.
He's not. He's a restricted free agent.
Right.
He's a $908,000 cap hit. He's still under contract. The Lions will just have to match any offer coming from another team. And I doubt that they would not do that, just because of the fact that his production of last season and having him in Detroit with his brother is going to give probably that a little bit of a discount so he can stay and play with his brother.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And Kenny Golladay, even in that situation, he said it looked like he's excited to play for Dan Campbell. From his reports that he's ready to get back to work. So this looking like what Mike Disner can do with the cap, and be able to work that into some of the players that is going to be cut here in the next couple of weeks. So I think that the Lions will be able to, I won't say make some major moves, but I believe should be able to sign a couple of players back that we need back on this team that are already here, and we can probably get them back into the building.
I agree with that. I think that the salary cap it's tough, but it's workable. You can do certain things. You can renegotiate contracts. You can, bump it, kick a can down the road if you'd like. I don't like doing that because I really do like rolling over money for the next season. I think that's a very smart move. That's what Indianapolis does. I think that's a really smart move to do as well. All right. Now we're going to go to Curt for some messages, I guess you call it.
We are Detroit Lions on the Prowl, your home for Detroit Lions news and rumors. And you can check us out over on the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network. Go over to bellyupsports.com. You can find our page right there on the website, and you can find a bunch of different podcasts to listen to. Whatever sport you want to check out, they have it over there, from NHL to NBA, MLB. They have some great writers over there as well for some good content. So go over and check them out, bellyupsports.com. And if you can't listen to our show, watch our show, you can listen to it. You can download the audio version of our show right there on that website as well, and listen to them on Skull Candy headphones. You can go down to the link in the description and purchase some Skull Candy headphones for a good price, and a portion of the proceeds for the sale on the link go to help us grow this show. Okay, now it is time to get into some honorable mentions on our Wall of Fame. Jim, who do you have?
We have the brand new Wall of Fame, man. I don't know. We have 3 people that are our members in our members only area. And it's Dr. Detroit, who is a gold member, and Nomis J, who has the members plus membership, and Detroit Drew, who is a Detroit Lions supporter member. We really appreciate you guys' support and got you up there on that Wall of Fame. And now we're going to go to the comment cards and let's see what you guys had to say about yesterday. Alex Lafrancois, he says, Juju fits better in the new offense. He's talking about Juju Schuster out of Pittsburgh. And we'll see. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, he's fast. He's a good wide receiver. I don't know that we're going to have a lot of money to throw around. And if we do, I don't want it going to wide receivers, to be quite honest. But
definitely. All right, next up we have Wesley Kevinin. He says, use the cap money you save to sign cheap, unrestricted free agents like Sue. I don't know how cheap Sue's going to be.
I was like, you use cheap and Sue in the same sentence.
I don't know about how cheap he's going to be, but I understand where you're coming from, Wesley. You may be able to get some good people on the low, in and around the league. So I understand the concept, but I don't think Sue's going to be cheap, especially to come back to Detroit.
Yeah, Midwest Lion says, and friend of the show, also check out his show. Midwest Lion has a show as well. Rashard Higgins or Josh Reynolds as Marvin Jones' replacement. They are cheaper. He's not wrong there.
And I know Josh Reynolds has familiarity with Jared Goff. So that's one guy you definitely could bring in coming out of the Rams organization.
It's a guy I actually would bring in, to be honest.
Yeah, I do like him. All right. Turner Burley says, Galladay wants more than $16 million. You let him walk, pick up some draft picks, or a franchise tag him. Keep Agnew. The reports that he turned down a $6 million deal was from $16 million deal was from Bob Quinn. I don't think a lot of people were wanted to come back to Detroit to play for Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia. You don't know what's going on with that. That's speculation to say that, he just it maybe who offered him the deal. I mean, a lot of people weren't jumping for joy to come back to Detroit under Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia.
Yeah, that makes sense. Was that deal offered to him by Quinn, or was that deal offered to him by? That
was offered to him by Bob Quinn.
Because I've heard this recently that he just turned down a $16 million.
No, the $16 million. He hadn't even had conversations with Brad Holmes yet. Brad Holmes hadn't even talked to that guy yet.
That's sad because that's kind of misreporting the facts there because, it sounds like he wanted to stay in Detroit. And then we get this report that said it looks like he wants to leave. But I think I think it's a completely different ball game now that we have Holmes and Dan Campbell. I think we have a complete different thing. Wesley, kid of however you say your name, bud. I'm not good at names. You got on here twice. That's great. Get rid of Trufant, Coleman, Daniels, Williams, James, Harmon, Jones, and all the unrestricted free agent except Okwara. Okay.
Well, that's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people, and we got to replace all those people.
Yeah,
We'll
see. That's a lot of names. But you know what, though? I will say this.
There's a lot of them on there I agree with, though.
Yeah, there's a lot of them that I can say, okay, I agree with you on that one. Okay, all right, last one. Thomas Donner says, keep Prater, Harmon, go, AP State, experience,
Aquara.
Okay, Wars. Stay.
I think he means
Sachs.
Aquara there.
Aquara. Okay. Aquara stays with Sachs.
Yeah.
So experience and Sachs comes in with keeping Matt Prater and Romeo Aquara. Which Romeo Aquara is not an unrestricted free agent. He's a restricted free agent. More than likely, the Lions will bring him back, most likely.
Okay, and for the question of the day, of the 5 players that we mentioned today, or you can have an honorable mention if you want. If you know of someone else that we didn't cover today, also put them in there. But of the 5 players that we wanted, who would you like to get in the second round if we only had one pick? You only have one choice. What do you think? What do you think for that second round pick? So that's the question of the day for today. And now we go to my favorite part of the show, the Dessert with Curt.
Well, the biggest pipe dream for the Lions came true in the mock draft from ESPN's Todd McShay. Todd McShay's 2.0 mock draft came out yesterday, and he had the Lions taking Devontae Smith on his mock draft for the Lions. So, wow. Todd, I appreciate that. If that pipe dream can come true, that's the best player available. Goodness, I will hope that's one guy as a receiver I will not mind getting in the first round.
You know, I love him as a receiver, but we had Calvin Johnson, we had Matthew Stafford, had Barry Sanders, and we won one playoff game with skill players.
Yeah. We
really need to build that defense, and we really need to build that running game, and that's offensive line, and that's good blocking tight ends, and that's, we got to get the uglies in there first. I love flashy players, and we love them, but guess what? That one is jacked in all these years. So it's just my take, but I want an offensive lineman or a defensive lineman right there.
I think that will come with the Lions wanting speed. You look at, that's one of the attributes that the Lions wanted. Look at Holmes and Campbell said they want fast, explosive guys on the team. And if he's the best player available, and I think that's how Brad Holmes is going to start drafting, that may be an option if he's there.
It may be, but we had Calvin Johnson had speed. Calvin Johnson's a Hall of Fame wide receiver. Barry Sanders is a Hall of Fame running back. And how many playoff games did we win with Calvin Johnson?
None with Calvin Johnson, of course. But
nothing.
I'm not saying that's going to be the coming to fruition. I'm just saying that's a pipe dream for a lot of Lions fans. I wouldn't be mad at it. I'm not saying that I want. That's
I don't know if I'd be mad at it, but you
wouldn't be mad at it.
We need to start building this defense, and we need to start building this offensive line
defense first.
And getting that running game to finally work. I don't care what you need to do. We need that running game to work.
It needs to work and work quickly. I understand.
Yes. All right. I really appreciate everybody rocking with us. You guys are so outstanding. And when we do the premieres, I'm just shocked at how many people show up and show out and give us good comments and good feedback. You kill it in the comments from the videos. We try to answer them all, but sometimes it's just so many of them. We try, but appreciate each and every one of you. Please continue to rock with us and tell a friend, share the video with some other Lions fan who doesn't know about us. If you really like the content in this show, then share it with a friend if you could. All right. And let's go to Curt to take it home for the day.
Hey, you know who we are. We are Detroit Lions on the Prowl. You're home for Detroit Lions news and rumors. And as always, share the videos, comment on the videos, like the videos. All of this helps us get this content to more Lions fans just like yourself. And do one more thing. Ring the notification bell so you know when you're getting fresh content from us right here on our channel. Speaking of our channel, you can join us weekdays, 11 a.m. right here on our channel for the premieres of our shows. And you can comment right along with us doing the premieres. And if you want to get your comments right up front, you can do a super chat for a little bit extra money. And as always, you can find us over on bellyupsports.com to download the audio version of our show if you can't catch it on YouTube. And as always, go down below and listen to those shows on Skull Candy headphones, and the proceed of the sales down below on that link go to help us grow this show. Hey, we appreciate you listening to us, checking us out. Comments, we really appreciate that. We love our Detroit Lions on the Prowl family, and we really appreciate it. Hey, now you know what you got to do throughout the day. Whatever you do in life, whatever it is, you know what you got to do. You got to boss up, ball out, and be the best version of you that you can be. From my man Jim, right here on Detroit Lions on the Prowl, this is Curt Steele, and we will holler at you real soon.